The unexpected visitor. The harsh Nevada sun beat down on Jake Thompson as he wiped the sweat from his brow. His weathered hands were stained with grease, a testament to the long hours he spent working on various machines in his remote desert workshop. At 35, Jake had built a reputation as the go-to mechanic for the impossible jobs, the ones that required not just skill, but a touch of ingenuity. Today was supposed to be like any other day. Wake up at dawn, coffee, then lose himself in the intricate world of gears, circuits, and metal. But as Jake reached for his wrench, a deafening boom shook the earth, sending tools clattering to the floor. "What in the blazes?" Jake muttered, rushing outside. The sight that greeted him defied explanation. A sleek, silvery craft had plowed a deep furrow into the desert sand, coming to rest less than a mile from his workshop. It was unlike any aircraft Jake had ever seen. No visible engines, no wings, just smooth, curved lines that seemed to absorb the sunlight. Jake's first instinct was to call the authorities, but something held him back. Curiosity, perhaps, or a deeper instinct that told him this was beyond the scope of any earthly agency. Instead, he grabbed his emergency kit and set out across the sand. As he approached the craft, Jake noticed a faint shimmer in the air around it, like heat waves but more pronounced. He reached out cautiously, only to find his hand stopped by an invisible barrier. "Some kind of force field," he murmured, his mind racing with possibilities. Suddenly, a section of the craft's smooth hull rippled and parted, revealing a dark opening. Jake stumbled back, his heart pounding. From the shadows emerged a figure that made him question his sanity. She, for the being was unmistakably female, stood nearly 7 feet tall. Her skin was a pale lavender, shimmering slightly in the sunlight. Long silvery hair cascaded down her back, moving as if caught in a breeze despite the still desert air. But it was her eyes that captivated Jake, large, almond-shaped, and a swirling mix of gold and violet that seemed to hold the mysteries of the universe. The alien's gaze locked onto Jake, and he felt a jolt of something. Not fear, exactly, but a profound sense that his life was about to change irrevocably. "Human," the being spoke, her voice melodious yet tinged with urgency. "I require assistance." Jake blinked, struggling to process the fact that this alien not only spoke English, but seemed to be asking for his help. Sure. What kind of assistance?" The alien gestured toward her craft. "My vessel has sustained damage during an emergency landing. Your planet's gravitational field is different from what I'm accustomed to. I need repairs before I can continue my journey." Jake's mind reeled. Here he was, a mechanic in the middle of nowhere, being asked to repair an alien spacecraft. It was absurd, impossible, and yet, isn't this exactly the kind of challenge he'd always dreamed of? "I'm Jake," he said, surprising himself with how steady his voice sounded. "I'm a mechanic. If you can show me what needs fixing, I'll do my best to help." The alien's expression softened slightly, the corners of her mouth lifting in what Jake hoped was a smile. "I am Zara, Crown Princess of the Astari Empire. Your offer of aid is most appreciated, Jake the mechanic." As Zara led him into the craft, Jake's senses were overwhelmed. The interior was a marvel of technology far beyond anything he'd ever imagined. Holographic displays flickered in the air, controls pulsed with soft light, and the walls themselves seemed alive with a faint, rhythmic movement. The primary propulsion matrix was damaged during atmospheric entry, Zara explained, gesturing to a complex array of crystalline structures and pulsing energy conduits. "Without it, I cannot generate the necessary power for interstellar travel." Jake studied the alien technology, his mind already beginning to draw parallels with systems he understood. It was advanced, yes, but not incomprehensible. There was a logic to it, a beautiful efficiency that spoke to him on a fundamental level. "I think I can help," he said slowly, "but I'll need time to study this. It's not like anything I've worked on before, but the principles, they're not as different as you might think." Zara tilted her head, regarding him with curiosity. You believe you can repair technology you've never encountered before. Jake shrugged, a small smile playing on his lips. It's kind of what I do. Figuring out the impossible is my specialty, just, usually with Earth tech. For the next several hours, Jake immersed himself in the alien craft's systems. Zara patiently explained the basic principles, and Jake found himself drawing surprising connections to his own knowledge. The propulsion matrix wasn't so different from an engine, just operating on a scale and with energy sources he'd never imagined. As they worked, Jake couldn't help but steal glances at Zara. Despite her alien appearance, there was something undeniably regal about her. She carried herself with a grace that spoke of years of training, yet there was a fire in her eyes that hinted at a rebellious spirit. So, Jake ventured during a break. Crown Princess, huh? What brings royalty to our little corner of the galaxy? Zara's expression darkened slightly. It's complicated. Let's just say that not everyone in the Empire agrees with my vision for our future. This emergency landing may not have been entirely accidental. Jake whistled low. Political intrigue on a galactic scale. And here I thought my life was exciting when I fixed up an old muscle car last month. To his surprise, Zara laughed, a musical sound that sent a pleasant shiver down his spine. Your humor is refreshing, Jake. My people could learn much from humanity's ability to find levity in dire situations. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the desert, Jake realized they had made significant progress. The basic systems were back online, and he had a solid understanding of what needed to be done to fully repair the ship. We should continue tomorrow, Zara said, noticing Jake's fatigue. You've already done more than I could have hoped for. Jake nodded, suddenly aware of how exhausted he was. You're welcome to stay at my place, he offered. It's not much, but it's better than sleeping in a broken spaceship. Zara hesitated, then nodded. Thank you. Your kindness is unexpected. My advisors always warned that primitive species would be hostile to outsiders. Primitive, huh? Jake grinned, leading her back to his workshop. Wait until you try my coffee in the morning. You might just change your mind about us primitives. As they walked across the cooling sound, Jake felt a sense of excitement he hadn't experienced in years. Tomorrow, he'd be back to work on the most advanced piece of technology he'd ever encountered. And more than that, he'd be spending time with Zara, a being who challenged everything he thought he knew about the universe. Little did Jake know, this was just the beginning of an adventure that would take him beyond the stars and change the course of two civilizations forever quantum bonds and cosmic challenges. As the first light of dawn painted the Nevada desert in hues of gold and crimson, Jake awoke with a start. For a moment, he wondered if yesterday's events had been an elaborate dream. But the soft hum emanating from his workshop quickly dispelled that notion. Princess Zara of the Astari Empire was real, and her damaged spaceship was waiting for him. Jake found Zara already awake, her lavender skin seeming to glow in the early morning light. She was studying a holographic display that flickered above her wrist, lines of alien script scrolling past faster than Jake's eyes could follow. Good morning, Jake said, suppressing a yawn. Ready for some good old-fashioned Earth coffee? Zara's multifaceted eyes sparkled with curiosity. I am eager to experience this beverage you speak of. Perhaps it will help me understand why humans seem so energetic despite your technological limitations. Jake chuckled as he prepared the coffee. Oh, you'd be surprised what we can do with our limited tech. Speaking of which, I had some ideas about your ship's propulsion matrix while I was sleeping. As they sipped their coffee, Zara declaring it fascinatingly bitter, yet oddly invigorating, Jake outlined his thoughts. He had realized that the alien technology, while far more advanced, shared some fundamental principles with quantum computing, a field he had been studying in his spare time. If we can recalibrate the matrix to account for Earth's unique quantum field, Jake explained, sketching diagrams on a worn notepad, we might be able to jumpstart the system without needing replacement parts. Zara leaned in, her eyes widening. Remarkable. You've intuited principles of quantum entanglement that took our scientists centuries to master. Perhaps I underestimated your species' potential. As they made their way to the ship, Jake couldn't help but feel a swell of pride. Here he was, a self-taught mechanic from the middle of nowhere, impressing an alien princess with knowledge that spanned galaxies. Inside the ship, they set to work. Jake's hands moved with practiced ease, bridging the gap between Earth tech and alien marvels. He jury-rigged connections between crystalline power conduits and modified computer chips from his own stockpile, creating hybrid systems that shouldn't work, but somehow did. As the hours passed, Jake and Zara fell into a rhythm, moving around each other as if they'd been working together for years. There was an unspoken connection growing between them, a shared language of innovation and discovery that transcended their different origins. You know, Jake said during a break, wiping sweat from his brow, I've been meaning to ask, why Earth? Of all the planets in the galaxy, why did you end up here? Zara's expression grew somber. It wasn't entirely by chance. Your planet has been of interest to the Astari for some time. You see, Earth exists at a unique nexus point in the galaxy's quantum web. Jake's eyebrows shot up. Quantum web? You mean the universe has some kind of underlying structure? Zara nodded. Precisely. And Earth, for reasons we don't fully understand, is a nexus of immense potential energy. Some in the Empire believe it could be the key to unlocking new forms of faster-than-light travel. The implications hit Jake like a thunderbolt. And let me guess, not everyone wants to use that knowledge peacefully. You are perceptive, Jake, Zara said with a sad smile. There are factions within the Empire who see Earth as a resource to be exploited, not a civilization to be respected. My mission was to make first contact, to open diplomatic channels. But it seems my enemies had other plans. Jake's mind raced. The fate of Earth, perhaps the entire galaxy, could hinge on getting Zara's ship operational again. Well then, he said, cracking his knuckles, let's show those factions what happens when they underestimate us primitive humans. With renewed determination, they dove back into the repairs. Jake pushed himself to the limit, drawing on every scrap of knowledge and intuition he possessed. He melded Earth tech with alien systems in ways that defied conventional physics, creating hybrid solutions that even Zara found astounding. As the sun began to set once more, casting long shadows across the desert, a low hum filled the air. Lights flickered across the ship's control panels, and holographic displays sprang to life. By the eternal stars, Zara breathed, her eyes wide with disbelief. You've done it, Jake. The propulsion matrix is online. Jake grinned, exhausted but elated. Never underestimate human ingenuity, Princess, especially when the stakes are this high. But their celebration was short-lived. A shrill alarm suddenly blared through the ship, and the holographic displays turned an ominous red. No, Zara gasped, her fingers flying over the controls. They found us. A battlecruiser from the opposing faction. They must have tracked my quantum signature. Jake's heart raced. What do we do? Zara turned to him, her eyes blazing with a mixture of fear and determination. We have a choice to make, Jake. We can try to outrun them, but the ship's systems are still unstable. Or what? Jake prompted, already suspecting he wasn't going to like the answer. Or we can use Earth's unique position in the quantum web to our advantage. We could attempt a maneuver that's never been tried before, a quantum leap that could take us anywhere in the galaxy instantly. Jake swallowed hard, and the catch. Zara met his gaze steadily. If it fails, we could be torn apart at the subatomic level, and even if it succeeds, there's no guarantee we'd ever find our way back to Earth. For a moment, Jake was overwhelmed by the magnitude of the choice before him. Everything he knew, his entire life on Earth, hung in the balance. But as he looked at Zara, saw the trust and hope in her alien eyes, he knew there was only one decision he could make. Well, Princess, he said, managing a crooked smile, I always did want to see the stars up close. Let's show the galaxy what a human and an Astari can do together. Zara's expression softened, a look of admiration and something deeper passing across her face. "You are truly remarkable, Jake Thompson. Very well, let us rewrite the laws of physics together." As the menacing shape of the Astari battlecruiser appeared in the sky above, Jake and Zara worked frantically to prepare for their desperate gambit. Earth tech and alien science melded in ways never before imagined, pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible. The ship hummed with power, the desert sand around it beginning to swirl as if caught in an invisible whirlwind. Jake's hands flew over makeshift controls, his mind working in perfect synchronization with Zara's alien knowledge. "Ready?" Zara asked, her hand hovering over the final activation sequence. Jake took a deep breath, his eyes meeting hers. In that moment, despite the vast differences between them, he felt a connection deeper than anything he'd ever known. "Ready," he replied. Zara pressed the control, and the world around them exploded into a kaleidoscope of light and energy. The very fabric of space-time seemed to bend and twist, reality itself reshaping around their small craft. As the quantum leap engulfed them, hurling them toward an unknown destiny, Jake's last thought was of the incredible journey that had begun with a simple act of kindness in the desert. Whatever the universe had in store for them, he knew that together they could face anything. The ship vanished in a burst of light, leaving behind a bewildered Astari battlecruiser and a mystery that would puzzle Earth's scientists for generations to come. The adventure of Jake Thompson and Princess Zara was only just beginning, their story destined to become legend across the stars. Cosmic convergence. The quantum leap flung Jake and Zara across the vastness of space, their bodies stretched and compressed in ways that defied human understanding. When reality snapped back into focus, Jake found himself gasping for breath, his senses overwhelmed by the impossible journey. Holy, quantum shift, Jake managed between ragged breaths. Did we just teleport? Zara's multifaceted eyes blinked rapidly as she oriented herself. Not exactly. We've undergone a process I can only describe as cosmic threading. Our particles have been woven through the fabric of space-time itself. As Jake's vision cleared, he was struck speechless by the view outside their ship. They were floating in a nebula of swirling purples and greens, dotted with newborn stars that pulsed with raw energy. It was a celestial nursery, a place where new solar systems were born. "Welcome to the Nexus Cradle," Zara said softly, her voice filled with awe. "A region of space thought to be only a myth among my people. The quantum energies here, they're off the charts." Jake's mind raced to keep up with the implications. "So we've basically stumbled into the cosmic equivalent of the Bermuda Triangle." Zara tilted her head, processing the reference. An apt analogy, though vastly understated. This place exists outside normal space-time. We could be witnessing the birth of stars that, from Earth's perspective, died billions of years ago. As they marveled at their surroundings, a sudden alarm blared through the ship. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing a rapidly approaching anomaly. "Void storm incoming," Zara exclaimed, her hands flying over controls. "Brace yourself, Jake. This could get chaotic." Before Jake could ask what a void storm was, the ship was engulfed in a maelstrom of dark energy. Reality itself seemed to warp and twist around them, the laws of physics bending in ways that made Jake's mind scream in protest. "The ship can't take much more of this," Jake shouted over the cacophony of groaning metal and crackling energy. "We need to find shelter." Zara's eyes narrowed in concentration. "There. A quantum pocket stable enough to shield us, but reaching it will require precision beyond our nav system's capabilities." Jake's hands were already moving, jerry-rigging connections between alien tech and the tablet he'd brought from his workshop. "Then we do it manually. Your knowledge, my intuition. Together, we can thread this cosmic needle." What followed was a dance of technology and instinct. Zara called out fluctuations in the quantum field, while Jake's hands flew over his makeshift interface, translating alien data into course corrections with split-second timing. The ship dove and weaved through the void storm, reality fracturing and reassembling around them with each maneuver. Jake felt as if he was surfing the edge of creation itself, his mind expanding to encompass concepts no human had ever grasped before. With a final, gut-wrenching twist, they burst through a curtain of energy and into a pocket of calm space. The ship's systems whined in protest before falling silent, emergency power barely keeping life support online. We made it, Zara breathed, slumping in her seat. Jake, you've done the impossible. Again. Jake managed a weak grin. Just another day at the office for this Earth mechanic. Though I gotta say, my usual gigs don't involve rewriting the laws of physics. As they caught their breath, a soft glow began to fill the cabin. Outside the viewscreen, the quantum pocket shimmered with threads of light that pulsed in complex patterns. It's beautiful, Jake murmured. Like the universe is trying to tell us something. Zora's eyes widened in recognition. It's more than that, Jake. These are quantum filaments, the very building blocks of reality. And if I'm not mistaken, they're reacting to our presence. As if in response to her words, tendrils of energy began to coalesce around the ship. Jake felt a tingling sensation throughout his body, as if every cell was resonating with the cosmic forces surrounding them. Zara, he said slowly, what's happening to us? The Astari princess looked at him with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. I believe we're undergoing a form of quantum entanglement. Our very beings are becoming intertwined with the fabric of the universe. Before Jake could process the implications, a blinding flash filled the cabin. When it faded, he gasped in shock. His hands were glowing with a soft blue light, ethereal patterns swirling across his skin. Zora was similarly transformed, her lavender skin now shimmering with iridescent hues that shifted like oil on water. When their eyes met, Jake felt a jolt of connection that went beyond the physical. It was as if he could sense Zara's thoughts, her emotions, the very essence of her being. This is incredible, Jake breathed. I can feel the ship, the energy around us. It's like I'm plugged into the universe itself. Zara nodded, her expression one of wonder. The Nexus Cradle has gifted us with something beyond my people's wildest dreams. We've become living conduits of cosmic energy. As they marveled at their transformation, the ship's systems suddenly sprang back to life. Displays flickered with information that Jake somehow understood instinctively, despite the alien script. The propulsion matrix, he said, his voice filled with excitement. I can see how to fix it now. Not just repair it, improve it. Zora's eyes lit up with realization. And I can optimize the quantum field harmonics. Together, we could push this ship beyond its original specifications. For the next several hours, though time seemed to hold little meaning in this realm, Jake and Zara worked in perfect synchronization. Their newfound connection allowed them to communicate without words, sharing ideas and innovations at the speed of thought. They melded human ingenuity with Astari technology, pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible. The ship transformed under their touch, becoming something entirely new, a hybrid craft that could navigate the quantum filaments of reality itself. As they put the finishing touches on their work, a ping from the long-range sensors caught their attention. Zara's expression grew serious as she interpreted the data. It's a distress signal, she said, from an Astari science vessel. They're trapped in a temporal eddy not far from here. Jake nodded, a determined glint in his eye. Well then, Princess, what do you say we take our new ride for a spin? Time to show the galaxy what happens when you combine human heart with Astari wisdom. Zara smiled, a look of admiration and something deeper passing between them. Indeed, Jake Thompson, let us write a new chapter in the cosmic story, one of unity, innovation, and hope. As they engaged the new propulsion system, the ship hummed with power unlike anything they'd felt before. They shot forward, surfing the quantum filaments with precision and grace, ready to face whatever challenges the universe had in store. Little did they know, their journey was about to take them to the heart of a conflict that would reshape the galaxy itself, with the fate of both their peoples hanging in the balance. Echoes of eternity. As Jake and Zora's newly transformed ship glided through the quantum filaments, the universe around them pulsed with vibrant energy. The distress signal from the Astari science vessel grew stronger, guiding them through the chaotic realm of the Nexus cradle. "We're approaching the temporal eddy," Zora announced, her iridescent skin shimmering with anticipation. "Prepare for chronological turbulence, Jake." Jake nodded, his glowing blue hands dancing over the hybrid controls. "Roger that, Princess. Time to put our cosmic surfing skills to the test." They plunged into the swirling vortex of distorted time, the ship's quantum-enhanced hull groaning under the strain. Outside the viewscreen, reality fractured into a kaleidoscope of past, present, and future. "Holy time warp," Jake breathed, his enhanced senses overwhelmed by the temporal chaos. "I'm seeing everything. The birth of stars, the death of galaxies, all happening at once." Zora's multifaceted eyes narrowed in concentration. "Focus, Jake. We need to locate the exact quantum frequency of the trapped vessel." As they navigated the turbulent time stream, Jake's mind expanded to encompass new dimensions of thought. He could feel the ebb and flow of time itself, the intricate dance of cause and effect that wove the fabric of reality. Suddenly, a flash of inspiration struck him. "Zora, I've got an idea. It's crazy, but it just might work." "At this point, Jake, I've learned to trust your brand of crazy," Zora replied with a smile. Jake's hands flew over the controls, reconfiguring the ship's quantum matrix. "We're going to create a temporal harmonic. If we can match the frequency of the eddy itself, we can ride it straight to the trapped ship." Zora's eyes widened in understanding. "Brilliant, but the precision required, it's beyond even our enhanced capabilities." "Then we'll just have to push beyond what's possible," Jake said with determination. "You with me, Princess." Their eyes met, and in that moment, their quantum-entangled minds synced perfectly. As one, they reached out to the ship's controls, their consciousness merging with the hybrid technology they created. The ship hummed with power, its systems pulsing in harmony with the temporal currents around them. Jake and Zora became conduits of cosmic energy, their very beings resonating with the rhythm of time itself. As they rode the quantum waves, fragments of other timelines flickered through their shared consciousness. They glimpsed alternate realities where Earth and Astari had met under different circumstances, some peaceful, others tragic. "Look," Zora exclaimed suddenly, "there's the science vessel." Through the swirling chaos, they could see the sleek form of an Astari ship, trapped in a bubble of frozen time. Its crew was visible through the viewports, suspended in a single moment, unaware of the eons passing around them. "Initiating temporal sync," Jake announced, his voice echoing with otherworldly harmonics. "Get ready to grab them, Zora. We'll only have a fraction of a second when our time streams align." The next few moments were a blur of action beyond human comprehension. Their ship phased in and out of normal spacetime, its quantum tether latching onto the trapped vessel at the precise instant their realities intersected. With a tremendous surge of energy, they pulled free of the temporal eddy, dragging the science vessel with them. As they emerged back into the relative calm of the Nexus cradle, alarms blared throughout both ships. "Multiple hull breaches," Zora reported, her hands flying over the controls. "The transition was too violent. We're losing atmosphere." Jake's mind raced, processing information faster than any normal human could. "We need to dock with them now. Their quantum shields are failing." What followed was a harrowing dance of precision piloting and split-second decision-making. Jake guided their ship alongside the damaged Astari vessel, improvising a docking procedure that, by all rights, should have been impossible. With a grinding of metal and a hiss of equalizing pressure, the two ships joined. Emergency force fields sprang to life, stabilizing both vessels as Jake and Zora rushed to aid the rescued crew. As the airlock cycled open, they were met with a sight that defied explanation. The Astari scientists stumbled out, disoriented and confused, but they weren't alone. Alongside them were translucent, shimmering versions of themselves, like echoes caught between moments of time. Incredible, Zara breathed. They've been quantum duplicated, versions of themselves from multiple timelines, all existing simultaneously. Jake's enhanced mind struggled to process the implications. So we've got, what? A bunch of time clones on our hands. Before Zara could respond, one of the scientists stepped forward. Her form flickered between solid and ethereal, her voice resonating with temporal harmonics. "I am Dr. Lyra, chief quantum theorist of this expedition," she announced, "and you have just shattered every law of physics we thought we understood." As Jake and Zara explained their journey and the transformations they'd undergone, Dr. Lyra's expressions cycled through shock, disbelief, and finally, excitement. "Don't you see?" she exclaimed, her multiple temporal versions speaking in unison. "This is the key to everything. The quantum entanglement you've achieved, combined with a temporal duplication process, it could revolutionize our understanding of the universe itself." Zara nodded sullenly. "And in the wrong hands, it could be a weapon of unimaginable power." The gravity of the situation settled over the group. They had stumbled upon knowledge that could reshape the cosmos, or tear it apart. "So what do we do now?" Jake asked, looking from Zara to the assembled Astari scientists. Dr. Lyra's multiple versions conferred silently for a moment before responding. "We must protect this discovery at all costs. The factions that sought to exploit Earth's quantum potential, if they were to learn of this, the consequences would be catastrophic." Zara's expression hardened with royal determination. "Then we make a stand, here in the Nexus Cradle. We use our newfound abilities, our hybrid technology, to defend this knowledge until we can find a way to use it for the good of all sentient beings." Jake felt a swell of pride and affection as he looked at the Astari princess. In that moment, he knew that his destiny was irrevocably tied to hers, and to the fate of two civilizations. "Well then," he said with a grin, his body glowing with cosmic energy, "I'd say it's time for this Earth mechanic and his quantum-enhanced friends to get to work. We've got a universe to save." As they set about fortifying their position and unraveling the mysteries of their newfound powers, Jake couldn't help but marvel at the strange turns his life had taken. From a lonely desert workshop to the heart of a cosmic confluence, he had found his place in a story bigger than he could have ever imagined. Little did they know, their greatest challenge was yet to come, for even as they prepared their defenses, dark forces were stirring in the far reaches of the galaxy, forces that would stop at nothing to possess the power they had discovered. The stage was set for a battle that would echo across time and space, with the fate of Earth, Astari, and countless other worlds hanging in the balance. And at the center of it all stood Jake and Zara, their quantum-entangled hearts beating as one, ready to face whatever the universe had in store. Quantum harmonic convergence. The Nexus Cradle pulsed with cosmic energy as Jake, Zara, and their motley crew of quantum-duplicated Astari scientists fortified their position. The hybrid ship, now christened the Star Waver, hummed with power beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. Jake stood at the newly fashioned quantum core, his glowing blue hands manipulating streams of pure energy. "You know, when I woke up in my desert workshop a week ago, I never thought I'd be playing cosmic chess with the fabric of reality." Zara smiled, her iridescent skin shimmering as she calibrated the temporal shields. "Life has a way of exceeding our wildest expectations, doesn't it? Especially when humans and Astari work together." Dr. Lyra, her multiple temporal versions working in perfect sync, approached with a holographic display of swirling data. "We've made a breakthrough in understanding the quantum duplication process. It seems that..." She was cut off by a blaring alarm. The Star Weaver's sensors lit up like a Christmas tree, detecting multiple quantum rifts forming around them. "Void Reavers," Zara exclaimed, her eyes wide with fear. "The dark faction of the Astari Empire. They must have tracked our quantum signature." Jake's enhanced mind raced through possible scenarios. "How bad are we talking here, Princess?" Imagine pirates, but with the ability to tear holes in reality, Zara replied grimly. They're after the power we've discovered, and they'll stop at nothing to get it. As if on cue, massive battleships emerged from the quantum rifts, their hulls bristling with weapons that defied the laws of physics. At their center was a behemoth of a vessel, easily 10 times the size of the Star Waver. A booming voice echoed through their communications system. This is Lord Vex of the Void Reavers. Surrender your vessel and the quantum secrets you possess, or face annihilation. Jake exchanged a determined look with Zara. Not gonna happen, Vexy. You want our quantum mojo. Come and get it. What followed was a battle that would have made Star Wars look like a schoolyard scuffle. The Star Waver danced through the quantum filaments, its hybrid technology allowing it to phase in and out of normal space-time. Jake's hands flew over the controls, his consciousness merged with the ship's systems. He guided them through impossible maneuvers, weaving between enemy fire and retaliating with bursts of concentrated quantum energy. Zara coordinated their defenses, her royal training and newfound cosmic awareness, allowing her to predict the Void Reavers' tactics seconds before they executed them. Jake, temporal rift forming at 3 o'clock. On it, Jake yelled, diving the Star Weaver into a barrel roll that took them through multiple dimensions at once. They emerged behind one of the enemy ships, unleashing a barrage that reduced it to quantum dust. Dr. Lyra and her temporal duplicates worked frantically at auxiliary stations, using their multi-dimensional perspective to spot weaknesses in the enemy formation. Target the flagship's chronodrive. It's out of phase with their main reactor. As the battle raged, Jake felt something stirring deep within him. The quantum energy that had transformed him was resonating with the cosmic forces around them, growing stronger with each passing moment. Zara, he called out, his voice echoing with harmonic overtones. I think I've got an idea. It's crazy, probably impossible, and might just tear a hole in the universe. You in? The Astari princess grinned, her own quantum aura flaring brightly. My dear Jake, at this point, I'd be disappointed with anything less. What's the plan? Jake's eyes gleamed with a mix of determination and cosmic power. We're going to initiate a quantum harmonic convergence, bring all these realities crashing together and reshape them in our image. Dr. Lyra gasped. That's beyond theoretical. The energy required would be exactly what we've got pumping through our veins, Jake finished. Zara, you with me on this? Their eyes met, and in that moment, their quantum-entangled hearts beat as one. Without a word, they joined hands, their auras merging into a swirling vortex of cosmic energy. The Star Weaver systems surged with power as Jake and Zara became living conduits of universal forces. The quantum filaments around them began to pulse in rhythm with their shared consciousness, reality itself bending to their will. Lord Vex's voice crackled through the comm system, tinged with fear for the first time. What are you doing? Stop this madness at once. But it was too late. Jake and Zara had tapped into something beyond the comprehension of even the Void Reavers. They were no longer just a human and an Astari. They had become avatars of cosmic balance itself. With a thought, they reached out across the battlefield, their consciousness expanding to encompass every ship, every being caught in the conflict. In that eternal moment, they saw the interconnectedness of all things, the delicate web of cause and effect that wove the tapestry of existence. And then, with a surge of will that defied description, they reshaped it. Reality shuddered and groaned as multiple timelines crashed together. The Void Reavers found themselves merged with alternate versions of themselves, versions that had chosen paths of peace and enlightenment instead of conquest. Lord Vex's flagship imploded, collapsing into a singularity that gave birth to a new star, a beacon of hope in the cosmic darkness. As the quantum storm subsided, Jake and Zara slowly separated, their bodies smoking with residual energy. The Star Weaver drifted in a sea of newborn stars, surrounded by the transformed ships of their former enemies. Did we Did we just rewrite history? Jake asked, his voice hoarse with exhaustion. Zara nodded, her eyes filled with wonder. Not just history, Jake. I think we just gave the universe a fresh start. As the crew of the Starweaver looked out at the transformed cosmos, messages began pouring in from across the galaxy. Worlds that had been at war for millennia found themselves at peace. Species on the brink of extinction flourished on vibrant new worlds. Dr. Lyra approached, her temporal duplicates now merged into a single radiant being. You've done the impossible. The quantum harmonic convergence. It's reset the cosmic balance, given us all a second chance. Jake pulled Zara close, their auras mingling once more. So, Princess, he said with a tired grin, what's next on the agenda? Reshaping a few more galaxies, taking a vacation on a nice quantum beach. Zara laughed, the sound like music to his ears. Oh, Jake Thompson, our journey is just beginning. We have a new universe to explore, bridges to build between worlds. And perhaps, she added softly, a future to build together. As they shared a kiss that sent ripples through the quantum foam of space-time, the crew of the Starweaver set a course for new horizons. They had started as strangers from different worlds, thrown together by cosmic chance. Now they were the architects of a brighter future, their love a beacon of hope for all sentient beings. The stars stretched out before them, an infinite canvas of possibilities. And as the Starweaver leaped into quantum space, Jake knew that the greatest adventure of all, a life shared with Zara, was only just beginning.